How's it going, guys? I got my good buddy Marco Hill. I got my good friend Benny Hill here. Alright, let's try that one more time. Cut. How's it going, guys? I got my good buddy Marco here. Marco, great to have you.
Hey, great to be back, John. Love being here.
I appreciate it. So today we are going to talk about Marco's love life. Let's go. We talk about a lot of things, Marco. I don't know if I should tell everybody, but Marco and I have something called the Chica Report. So Chica over here, I think it kind of loosely means like gossip. And so we will send each other messages like a couple of teenage kids, and we will give each other the updated Chica Report. And often for you, your Chica Report has to do with the latest in your love life. That's right. So tell me, how long have you been here living in the Philippines this time?
So I've been here 9 months now, living this time.
Okay.
Primarily here in Cebu with a couple quick trips to other places. But yeah, I've been here quite a while. And the whole time I'm been, quote, searching and ultimately am looking for a life partner to maybe make that last leg of life journey since I'm 62, right? I've got 25, 30 years, hopefully not more than that, to go. So yeah, finding in the search.
Yeah, so I feel like I need to cue the, Foreigner, I've been waiting for a Love Like You song, something like that for you whenever I see you, because I know pretty much since the first time we met, that was really one of your goals here in the Philippines, is to find, just a great partner over here to live happily ever after, your soulmate. So tell me a bit, when you first came here, how did you imagine that would go?
Well, here's exactly how I imagined it.
Okay.
So I would meet foreigners and they had a Filipino wife, or I'd meet at some of the travel conferences I went to, I'd meet a married couple. They're both vloggers, they're both working together, and I was like, that's what I want.
Yes.
That's what I want. Or here, I want a Filipina who joins me and does everything I do and wants to join my mission with my new channel, with all the things I'm doing. That was the goal.
So when you first came here, if you were to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident you were that you knew what you were looking for in a soulmate, where would you be? 10 being totally confident, 1, you got no idea.
When I first got here, 9.
Okay. All right. So moving on about 9 or so months, what number are you at today?
2.
Okay, so that's a huge drop in confidence. So you were really responding initially to kind of the fairy tale. You saw the end result of people that were maybe crying in their Cheerios earlier in life trying to find the right person, and you were thinking initially, hey, this doesn't look so hard. I'm just gonna fly on over to the Philippines and kind of find the perfect partner for me.
Well, I certainly wouldn't. I never thought it was going to be easy, but I was willing to do my due diligence, my work. And so when I'd get on, let's say, dating sites, oh my gosh, I'd spend hours curating, right? Okay, putting in all the filter pieces. And I was, as you know, I was very direct. Here's what I'm looking for.
Right.
And a lot of Filipino women were like, what? Is this a job interview? Are you hiring me? They were confused. But through conversations, very quickly, either it wasn't going to work out, that's fine, move on, as we say, next. So I was willing to do the work, but yeah, it's been difficult.
So what do you think have been the factors that have kind of take you from that 9 level of confidence to a 2?
I just think reality. The reality that the person that is this ideal means they don't have a lot of responsibilities in their current life, or are willing to kind of give those up and jump into this other Marco pool, and of course a lot of Filipinas are single moms with kids, and kids, I opened up to maybe older kids might be a possibility, depending on how self-sufficient and other caregiving options that might be available, but that it's just rare to find somebody that in independent, because and the problem is the older the Filipina is, then maybe the more maturity, the more responsibility that is there, but also the more ingrained in their life they are with family and kids and such. Whereas the younger, some of them maybe they don't have kids yet, but boy, they're fresh out of college and they're young, and so then there's going to be this age cultural gap that's even bigger than maybe somebody older. So it's just, boy, there are so many factors.
So tell me more. What would you say are maybe your top 5, 6, 7 things that you were looking for in someone when you first came here?
I would say, number one, could recognize what my mission was and was like, yeah, I'd be willing to jump in, even if I don't have experience with on camera, this type of vlogging life.
And just, sorry to interrupt you. So by mission, for those not aware, you're starting Being Empowered, a new platform on Patreon, coming soon to a channel near you. I'll share the information in the description before.
Bingo!
Pay me later. Just kidding. So you were really looking for someone that was going to be a part of this new entrepreneurial journey that you have, which is very near and dear to your heart with all of your documentary experience and really wanting to make a difference in people's lives.
So absolutely, that's huge for me. I mean, my whole life has been about service. So somebody who would become a partner would have to really have that as a core piece of that they want to give back to the world. And quite honestly, when you're in survival mode, as much of Southeast Asia, middle, lower class is, and many of these women who get on sites will come from poor families, it's hard to be in service to others when you're just trying to put food on the table.
Sure.
So that was certainly a piece that's been hard to fill. Okay. So the checklist of that, and are you willing to travel a lot? Everybody says, oh yeah, I love travel. No, like a lot. Like you don't have a permanent home a lot. And then that usually separates a bunch that, well, of course not that much.
Because people love being near their family here, or maybe they have kids, right?
I was doomed from the start, and you did shake your head sometimes, knowingly.
I did, just with a little bit of smugness.
A little.
Not too much.
But always hoping, right?
Always hoping.
Always hoping.
And shaking my head. So what else was on the checklist?
I definitely on a practicality list, like the fact that it's accepted within this culture that a younger woman can be with an older man. And by younger, 30s, 40s, for me, I'm in my 60s, because the practicality is you bring that youthful energy to a lot of things that I can't do a 16-hour day anymore, the way I used to. And practicality, in another 20 years, 25, I'm going to need some help. And when you marry somebody your own age, it's a coin flip of who takes care of who, and even then, can the spouse take care of you because she's also 90?
Sure.
So I like that practicality part. Us as Americans, we have ingrained that, we don't want our kids to have to take care of us. We don't want to be a burden on anybody.
Right.
But to your wife, sure, yeah, I can be a burden on you.
You can be a burden on your wife?
Absolutely.
Being a burden on your wife with a bigger age gap is, I'm sure, a challenge that you did not have over here because it's just so common. So I think for those watching from the US, scandal, where age gaps maybe are 10 years or less. I have happily married friends that have a 40-year age gap. And so I think in other cultures, people really have this idea that age matters, especially how big the gap are. Even if people are the same age and our divorce rates are through the roof in the countries that we come from, nonetheless, don't you have that age gap? So at least, I would imagine, knowing the culture here, this has not been a problem.
Yeah, and it still comes down to the person. So I have dated women in their 20s. Scandal. I've dated women in their 50s here, and all in between, and it still comes down to the person. Now, the younger you get, then the more you're going to have to sacrifice and just kind of world experience, life experience, and such. But boy, when you start meeting younger people who kind of have that old soul quality to them, there is a connection. There is something that is there. So yeah, at this point, my minimum age requirement, which probably started at 40, 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it is down into the 20s as a possibility. And ultimately, I think the biggest conclusion is I'm probably going to need to compromise.
With the age part of it?
With everything.
Wow.
I am. Well, and we all do that in relationship to some degree. And the question is how much? And maybe 2 years of searching and the frustration has me saying, and compromise has a negative connotation, but it's about accepting that not everything's going to be perfect. And even if you think it isn't going to be perfect.
Sure.
And you're going to have to work on relationships. So that would be another big piece. Does this person coming into the relationship, are you willing to do the open, honest, direct communication that a thriving relationship takes?
Sure.
So sometimes that's very unknown to this culture of what that looks like.
Right, right. Wishing you
Thank
much
you.
love and happiness in the future. Really appreciate you sharing so honestly. I know everybody just wants to know that it's all easy over here, but actually I think you are so much more real than most people are, because it's not easy when you're dealing with cross-cultural differences and thinking through so many different things over here as well. So you're a great guy. I have no doubt you're gonna find the right one for you.
Thank you.
But until then, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. I would love your guys' support. Marco, thank you again for being on the channel.
My pleasure.
And as always, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Take care.